Welcome to another Solitaire Rant quest. Today, uh, uh, today at this moment, I'm moving the table forward, up to me, and yeah, today I'm talking about Lord of the Rings, another franchise that's coming under attack by the SJWs. They're trying to worm their way into it. They've been taking pot shots, but now there's a new TV series that's going to be planned. It's going to be the most expensive TV series ever, I guess, next to the One Piece live action, I guess. So yeah, we have, yeah. Now that the SJWs, they've done their damage to Star Trek, they've done the damage to Star Wars, they've done the damage to Star Trek, they're going after Tolkien. They're going after the big fish of medieval fantasy. They're going after Tolkien. And been hearing comments that there's no black representation in Lord of the Rings, that the orcs are black people, and that, all we need is a Me Too allegation against Tolkien, and him saying shit about gay people, and we got ourselves an SJW. We got ourselves an SJW bingo here. We got ourselves an SJW bingo. It's all we're fucking missing right now. But yeah, Tolkien. Now Tolkien. The reason why there's not many black people in Lord of the Rings, it's not that they don't exist. Is that Tolkien, he set his story, The Lord of the Rings, in an area of the world and like the whole setting of Lord of the Rings is a mirror of 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 like of ancient civilizations or the old world. It was a mirror of the old world. And back in the day, back in ye olden times, before the internet, if you were not many black people traveled to Europe. They mostly, if you were traveling, you were a trader. From Africa, you were a trader. You traded your goods, and the farthest you probably would go was the Middle East, because the Middle East in the ancient world was a crossroads of trade. Now, yeah. Now, the setting of Middle Earth, the setting takes place in a northern European type region of Middle Earth. The events of Lord of the Rings take place there. So, yeah, and it's a mirror of ancient times, So, yeah, the reason why there's not many black people in Lord of the Rings is because historically, back in the day, you didn't travel far from where you didn't travel that far away from your hometown or city or village. Back in the day, you didn't travel that very far. Traveling back in the day took a long time, either by boat or by horse-drawn carriage. It took a long time. like if you lived in Africa and you wanted to upend your life and move to Europe, you were trekking along. You trekking a that's a that's a long ass journey. That is a long ass journey, and you're not gonna do that without reason. Like you have to be hated by a lot of. There has to be a very, very, very good reason for you to upend your life like that. And most likely you weren't gonna fucking make that journey. You weren't gonna fucking make that journey. Like traveling was hard. Traveling by sea was dangerous. You know, the SJWs complaining about lack of black representation in Lord of the Rings is like complaining. It's like complaining that there is a lack of Native American representation in the movie Princess Mononoke. Well, this shit is set in feudal era Japan, and not many Native American people traveled off of the continent of North America to feudal era Japan. There was none of that travel going on back in the day. Sure, Native American people exist, but did they travel to feudal era Japan? Hell no. Crossing the Pacific like that would have been fucking dangerous. It would have been fucking dangerous as all hell. So, yeah. The reason why Tolkien doesn't have any black people in his story is because he's going for a historically accurate, a sort of historically accurate type story where you didn't have people of different ethnicities traveling very far from where they lived. That's the most likely scenario for Tolkien, not including black people representing the races inside his story. That's the most likely reason. And also, who's to say that black pigmentation developed in the human populations in Lord of the Rings? How do we know that magic in their world doesn't act like a natural SPF 50 for everyone on the planet? You know? Who's to say that black pigmentation developed in Middle Earth in that world? Who's to say? Because black pigmentation it came from evolution. It came from a need to protect the skin against ultraviolet radiation. You know? And if you got humanity evolving in like an area like Northern Europe, if it's all northern, if the whole setting is all Northern Europe, where there's not a lot of UV radiation coming down, there's no need for your body to adapt and evolve and generate darker complexions, you know? Also, this is a medieval fantasy story that was made in the 1950s. Why are we so keen on holding this story to our modern 2020 standards? I mean, yeah, I don't honestly think Tolkien is racist. I don't think Tolkien is racist. There's no I don't think he's just a guy that wanted to write his story, put it pen to paper, and write out his story. And yeah, I don't, what I think the reason why the SJWs are attacking Lord of the Rings is because it's a story with men doing heroic things, and to them, any man that does heroic things is a product of the patriarchy, and stories like that they're products of the patriarchy. That's what I think the SJWs have a problem with Lord of the Rings. They also say that the orcs in Lord of the Rings are black people in the story, and they also say that for D&D. Now you see, I'm gonna go into. I've read the Silmarillion. Do I retain all of it? No. Well, I have it. I can reference it, and I can get out of take it off my bookshelf and start reading passages out of it to you. I've read it, but I've don't really. It's been a while. But yeah, no, the orcs in Lord of the Rings, they were created by the Dark God, or who's or pretty much they're created by a dark god. And I'm not talking dark-skinned god. No, I'm talking motherfucking Satan. Pretty much created by Satan. The orcs were created by these orcs were created by Middle Earth equivalent to Satan, to be a bastardization of the race of man. And the Orcai, they were the bastardization of the elves, and the trolls were the bastardization of the dwarves, and the goblins were a bastardization of the hobbits. Morgoth created the orcs to spit in the face of the other gods that were there, and he created them specifically to be used as his personal foot soldiers. They were created to be his personal foot soldiers. So when he created them, he didn't he created a race of beings who were brutal, to be his brutal foot soldiers in the various wars he planned out. Yeah, they were used by Sauron to be troops and foot soldiers. They're not fucking black people, for fuck's sakes. They're literally Satan's foot soldiers, his personal army. Like they're created by fucking Morgoth to be his goddamn fucking foot soldiers. Dear Lord. They're not fucking black people. They are savage and they are brutal, but they are not black people. And yeah, if you found an orc and did some I guess you could I guess you could teach an orc to not be brutal. But the reason why they are portrayed that way is because they were created to be the bad guys, the foot soldiers of the bad guys. They were created to be Like, Tolkien, The Lord of the Rings is a very, very black and white story. A story of good versus evil. There is very little middle ground. There's no room for interpretation. The orcs are the bad guys because the orcs are the fucking bad guys, and fucking Tolkien established them as such in the goddamn fucking Silmarillion. They were created to be Morgoth's fucking foot soldiers, for fuck's sakes. For fuck's sakes. This just fucking pisses me off. And the new Lord of the Rings TV series, yeah, it's gonna be woke as all hell. I wouldn't be surprised if it's worse than Watchmen. You'll probably get a few episodes to pull you in, then they're gonna slam you with the agenda. That's what they did with Picard. That's what they did. That's what they did with Star Wars. It's all the same fucking tactics in their goddamn fucking playbook. I honestly, because it's being made now. Do I think that show is gonna be a success? No. Absolutely not. It's gonna be woke as all hell. And the fact that the Tolkien estate is letting this happen, oh, I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere they sign a contract and they get cut out of all creative input. And we get an absolute dumpster fire. We get an absolute dumpster fire of a TV series. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be fucking surprised at all. I would actually be more surprised if it was actually a good series and they didn't go woke. But I've heard that they wanted to. They put into question Gandalf's gender. They put into question Gandalf's gender. Can Gandalf become a woman? I wouldn't fucking do. Creatively, I would not do that. Cause I wouldn't want to piss off. I wouldn't want to piss off my audience who are fans of the fucking story. You know. Yeah. Yeah, I think the people that are creating this series, they're gonna fucking lack all the nuance necessary to make this series successful. They're not gonna accept. They're not gonna stick to Tolkien's vision. It's good that they're going out of the Third Age. There's gonna be a lot of stuff. They're gonna be covering stuff that wasn't fucking. There's no details on. And yeah, just like. You know, there's always going to be the Lord of the Rings movies to go back to. There's always those aren't going to get pulled out of rotation whatever streaming service there are on. You can always go back to the Lord of the Rings movies, the books. Don't have to watch any new shit in the Lord of the Rings ever fucking again. Just like Doctor Who, you don't have to watch a new episode of Doctor Who ever again. There's literally a whole bunch of backlog you can go back to, and you don't have to watch any of it ever again. You don't have to watch this. You don't have to watch this crap when it comes out. That's my thoughts on that. If it does go woke, oh, I hope it gets torn to shreds, and I'll be there tearing some pieces off too. 'Cause yeah, these are my thoughts on the wokeification of Lord of the Rings. I'm the Blood Knight of the Old Republic of Bloodganistan. Stay frosty, stay sexy, San Diego. Get your jewels in one where you can. I'm a spaceman. Peace out.